Hello everyone. My name is Jo and I'm an independent cloud consultant based in Sydney, Australia. This is a series of videos where we will go through questions which are very similar to Azure AI-102 certification. I'll explain in detail each and every options and figure out the correct answer. So if you're preparing for AI-102 certification, join me in this video. Now, a basic knowledge of Azure AI services will help you to better understand these questions. Now, regarding me, I watched one training to prepare for the exam. From watching this training, I got insights on different Azure AI services, what are those services used for, how to create them, and much more. So if you're preparing for your Azure AI-102 certification, I would highly recommend you this training. The link to this training will be given in the description box below. Now to the question. You have an Azure subscription that contains an Azure OpenAI resource. You are entitled to develop a console app that will answer user questions. You need to call OpenAI resource and output the results to the console. How should you complete the code? To answer, select the appropriate options in the answer area. Now, there is a snippet of code provided. Now, let us break down the question. So, the question is regarding an Azure OpenAI resource. Now, the OpenAI resource should generate answer to user question. And this generated response should be printed on the console. That is the requirement. Then how should we complete the code? And in the code, you can see two blanks. We have to select the correct options for each of the blank. Now in the code, there is a key and endpoint, and we are calling some API with the deployment name and the prompt. And we have to print the response generated by this model. So somewhere we are passing this key and endpoint that is not shown in the code. By using this key and endpoint, we are calling the model, providing the prompt and getting the response and storing that response in this variable named response. Now we have to print this response onto the console. That is the question. Now to the option. So about the API to call, it is openai.ChatCompletion.create or openai.Embedding.create, engine deployment _ name, openai.Image.create. Now for print, response.choices 0.text, response.id, response.text. Now let us get into the documentation. Azure OpenAI Service REST API reference. This article provides details on the inference REST API endpoints of Azure OpenAI. So this is the endpoint of Azure OpenAI. Now if you further go down, we can see this is how we call the API. So there is the endpoint of our resource, then OpenAI, deployments, the deployment ID, and completions, followed by the API version. So we are calling the completions API of OpenAI resource to generate response to user questions. So in this question, the API we are calling is openai.ChatCompletion.create. So the correct answer, the first blank is ChatCompletion.create. We are not calling the embedding API or the image API. We are calling the chat completion API of OpenAI resource. So that is the correct answer. Now what we have to print? We have to print the output. So in the documentation, if we further read through, here we can see responses, and the responses from the chat completion API is in the JSON format. So the response is in JSON format, and if we go to this link, here we can see choices. It is an array and it is a list of chat completion choices, can be more than one. So if we want to see the first choice, the first element of the array is 0. That is how we print the response from the model. Now let us get back into the question. So here, how will we print the response? It is response.choices. So we saw choices and it is an array. So we're printing the first element of that array dot text. That is how we print the response from the model. What about response.id? Response.id is an invalid object. What about response.text? It is also an invalid response object. So the correct answer is response.choices _0 text. That is how we print the response from the model. If you find this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.